In episode 1.6 of Unshuffled, we discuss the sixth album from the atomic Bitchwax. It's called Gravitron. But first, here's our awesome intro music from Seven Planets. Scotty D.
Matt, how are you?
Good. We got a faster, heavier Bitchwax album to contend with here.
We sure do. We absolutely do. How's everything in your world?
Well, I don't know. It's everyone around the world's going through the same thing. This sort of losing the whole concept of time it's become this completely elastic concept. It's creating some really strange mental sort of gymnastics and dilemmas, as one day blends into the next. But I'm sure all our listeners are feeling the same thing. See,
I'm up in the mountains of Vermont, and the reason I'm able to keep track of time is because it snows every damn third day. So every time it snows, I think to myself, well, 3 days must have passed.
Well, at least it creates a change of scenery for you. You've got some days where it's white and some days where it's not.
At least it's May 9th.
Yeah.
It's time to stop snowing. Whoever I can write about that. But yeah, but here we are. We have two more Bitchwax albums to contend with coming up.
We've got
here.
one that currently exists and one that will exist in a few weeks.
That is on its way.
Listeners, there's a link to the pre-release artwork and track listing for the yet-to-be-released album in the show notes, so you can check it out there. It's called Scorpio. It's out on May 29th, so it will be. I think we have to do it, right?
Oh, of course we have to do it.
Yeah, we can't come all this way and stop just as they release their new album. So yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
I'm looking at the album cover as we speak.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah,
I'm definitely looking forward to this.
Yeah. Anyway, listeners, this is Unshuffled. If you haven't listened before, we're all about intentional listening. We're listening to albums from start to finish without shuffling them up. Track by track, album by album. And our band, the first band that we've covered, that we've given the Unshuffled treatment, is the Atomic Bitchwax out of New Jersey. Stoner rock sort of royalty that surprisingly neither of us had ever listened to before we started this podcast. So that's changed dramatically now. We've listened to this band a lot in the last few months and thoroughly enjoyed them along the way. So we've got a new one for you tonight. We're up to, what is it, their sixth album? Sixth album called Gravitron. And Scott will talk you through the bio for the album.
One of the reviews that I had read, just before I start into the bio here, was described the album as Thunder Boogie, and I'm kind of loving that term as a description for Atomic Bitchwax going all the way back. This one now is coming out in 2015, so we've got looks 4 years since the Local Fuzz.
Yes.
This is in April of 2015. And it was produced again by the Atomic Bitchwax. This one was recorded at 3 studios, and none of them was at remember when they first started, they were recording everything at Tracks East.
Yep.
And they've sort of, I guess now the last couple albums they've moved away from that. And so this was recorded in Long Branch at Shorefire and Keyport at the Freak Shop, and then again at the Panic Room, which I think is where the Local Fuzz was recorded. And so they did some traveling.
Yeah, I think the main one was the Shorefire. And on the, I mean, I've got the CD cover here. The recording and mixing was done at Shorefire, and then it says additional recording at Panic Room and the Freak Shop. So yeah, I think.
Okay.
Sorry to cut in, but Monster Magnet had used the same studio for a 2013 or so album, and as we know by now, these guys are all in Monster Magnet, or two, except for Finn Ryan. We're back to that great crossover between the two bands.
Right. Well, now this is, I mean, if you read some of the interviews, they kind of, Monster Magnet's their day job. Yep. And when Monster Magnet goes on hiatus, that's when they can, and which explains the 4-year absence there. So the lineup, to go into that, we've got Chris Kozenik, who is on the Fender jazz bass, which was specified here, vocals, and then Finn Ryan, guitar, vocals, and Bob Pantella, drums and piano. Mm-hmm. Bob's giving us a little piano on this one.
Yeah. Yep. Lovely.
So that is as far as the production. And then I want to talk a little bit about sort of with regards to, the artwork.
Yep.
So Anthony Zito did the artwork for this album.
Yeah.
And I went back to look at what else he had done. And I found links to sort of his various his websites where he sells his artwork. Did you find other album covers that he had done?
No, I didn't see any other album covers. Are there others?
I didn't see any. That's what it seemed. This seemed to have been maybe a one-off project for him.
Yeah, he seems to do a lot of portraiture and some local sort of street art, murals and things in his, it's around I think he's in New York.
Yeah.
New York City.
Yes. And so it was interesting. I'm curious to know, I mean, it may not be an interesting story, but I'm curious to know how that sort of connection and relationship came to be. I will say with regards to the album cover, I do like it. It's sort of that 1950s, 60s pulp comic kind of early radio show, sort of the Mesmerizer, kind of a Chandu the Magician, early Doctor Strange. I liked it.
Yeah, I actually think this is my favorite artwork so far from them.
Yeah.
And I suspect some of those recent album covers were done by the band, and I think outsourcing to a recognized visual artist has paid off for this one. I really do like this. And yes, there's a girl on the cover, as there often is, but this is in context. This is the magician's assistant, and I love the rendering of the kind of evil-looking magician with the lightning bolts coming out of his fingers. I think it's a very nice drawing, and obviously a very good artist.
Yep, I agree.
Do you want to talk studio and production briefly? It's the mastering's Alan Duché, our old friend. But the studio is, I think, a step up for them. Just looking at the studio website, and again, I've linked to that on the show notes. This seems like a very top-level studio, and the sound on this is, I think, the cleanest and best production we've heard from them so far.
The sound that they get out of the drums on this album is so good. It's so clear and clean, and and I guess we'll talk about it later, but it reminisced. I remember when we talked about the first album, and I loved the sound of the drums. But this sort of harkens back to that with that big drum sound again. But it is definitely cleaner, and they definitely had more toys at their disposal while sort of mixing and recording and playing with that recording value.
Yeah, he's got a big tom, a big floor tom, and whenever he hits that on this, it just sort of the whole thing booms, but it doesn't get muddy. Pantella's the drum tech on this is fantastic, I think.
The one thing, and this comes up in several of the interviews, is it talks about how it has sort of that 70s sound to the drumming. And I had recorded with a band many years ago, and I remember when we went in to record, we took several of those sort of more we were looking for that exact drum sound. Mm-hmm. And we took it into the studio, and we're trying to figure out how to get that drum sound. We never got it. We could not figure out how to get it. They got it. Mm. And I don't know. I would love to. I don't know if Cosnick ever got back to your email, but that would be one of my questions. How did you get that sound?
Well, unfortunately, he hasn't yet, but I'm sure it's only days away. Yeah, the drum sounds great. I also think there's a much more metallic edge to the guitar on this album than we've heard previously, and again, a much cleaner sound in the guitar. The bass is less prominent than it has been on some of the previous albums, but
it kind of falls into the mix a little bit.
Yeah, but still very, you're never going to lose Cosnick in a three-piece, but there is a really nice, more metallic edge to the guitar and a cleaner but powerful drum sound on this. So there's another. They do some metal bands in that same studio. I've also linked to an album from Overkill.
Yes.
And I've never really listened to Overkill. Maybe they can be our next band. Who knows? I might put them on my list for the next band.
I do have an Overkill story, but I can save it for some other day.
Save it for another day. But the drum sound on the Overkill album that I've linked to is fantastic. I'm not overly sold on every other member of the band. Perhaps it'll grow on me. I might give it a few more listens. But the drums are amazing on that Overkill album as well, and that's got the double kick too.
I do want to go back to what you were saying about the bass on this album, and I do agree that it falls into the mix more than maybe we've heard on other albums. But at the same time, I think some of his best bass playing is quietly happening in that sort of in this album. Like just some of the he's got the grooves. He's always going to have the grooves, but he's doing some really cool riffs that are really kind of understated. Yeah. And which I don't know, which adds to it as well, because it's not something that I necessarily noticed on the first listen. It was coming back to the fourth or fifth listen where it's like, well, how did I miss that before? Mm.
Yeah, he's an excellent bass player. He honestly is one of my favorites. He's in my list of favorite bass players, and the fact that I hadn't heard of him 3 months ago is a little embarrassing. But how quickly your opinions and your things can change. Hearing this guy has sort of given me a new appreciation of the instrument generally. It's not something I usually seek out. I usually look for the drums and then, okay, what's the guitar riff doing? But now the bass of Cosnick over these 6 albums has really got me appreciating a good bass player again. Not since Geezer Butler have I sort of sought out what's the bass guy doing in this way.
That's usually my go-to.
Yeah. So let's get into the track by track. We'll save our thoughts for the end. Our overall album thoughts. I might just preface it though by saying not all of the reviews for this album that I've read are positive. There's a couple of links that are on the show notes that suggest this was met with mixed reviews. So let's see what we think and then sum it up at the end and see if we agree with that mixed feeling, or whether we're as positive about this as we have been about pretty much all their albums so far.
Right. So, well, let's start with Executioner.
Yeah, what an opener, huh? What an
terrible,
opener.
Terrible name. I want to put that out there. But
isn't that a character from Gua?
Oh my gosh, you're right. It is.
I think it's one of the band members in Gua is the Executioner.
Is the Executioner. Yeah, you're right. Okay, so there you go. It's at least a song by Guar, but it works for Guar. However, with that said, this in the mornings my wife would be on Zoom meetings and I've got the kids and we're doing breakfast, and I would put this on and everybody was dancing. We were all three of us just dancing and just grooving to this song. We're back in our house now, and so I've got the proper speakers now for the first time. I'm listening to these as I want to hear them.
Yep.
And man, this is just the way to start the day.
It's a great opening track. Very aggressive, very muscular, fast song. It's over quickly, but they pack a lot into the 2.5 or so minutes.
I love the opening drums. I love the buildup of the drums. He does. I think there's bass balls on here. There's that cool little bass run as we get over the halfway mark.
Yep.
And
but also, I mean, there's some nice. It feels like it's building up to something, and part of the reason for that is the lyrical. The lyrics they use where they say, that early on he says, we've only got 10 minutes to go. And then the second verse, we've only got 5 minutes to go. And then the third verse, we've only got 1 minute to go. And it does have a kind of explosive finish.
Isn't there? I read somewhere that there's a story behind with these lyrics, and I'm wondering if that's building up to it.
Yeah, there is some mention of a comet that's hitting the Earth that is touched on in one or two of the other songs. I wasn't quite I didn't quite pick it up as much as perhaps I was expecting from that interview, but there is a comet hitting the Earth, theme somewhere in this album. One of the things that helped me appreciate this song even more was seeing the guitar tab. And it mentions in two parts of this song, it says the timing here is tricky. In the break and in the outro, where and if you try and keep, sometimes you do this on a Helmet album or something, you try and, okay, where's he playing the riff here? And it starts to get, hang on, what's he done there? They have that in the break. The second break is a subtle variation on the first break. And then in the outro, there's a really clever finish to this song. The other thing that stood out for me is after the bass solo, we get Finn Ryan's first solo on the album. And this guitar god just emerges that I didn't know existed prior to this. I mean, I've always liked Finn Ryan's playing, but he is like shredding, like as if he's dueling, Mundell at the Crossroads. His solos on this and a lot of the other songs throughout, he has stepped up his solo work on this album and also stepped up, into the limelight a little more as well. So there's two solos on this, and they're both great.
Right. This is one, I believe Koznick is singing this, and I'm starting to be able to, I'm listening to that. Last couple albums, you'd been talking about that hard R sound. And I think that's Koznick. And I think he's got kind of this slacker drawl when he sings, and he kind of hangs on that R. And so in doing so, whereas Koznick does a lot more singing on this album. And I think that definitely frees Finn Ryan up to have at it.
Yep, absolutely. So yeah, great opening song.
And I'm always impressed when the bass player is not just sort of just keeping a beat, but actually playing riffs and singing at this. It's not easy to do. And Cosmic does it well.
Yeah. So they pack a lot into 2 minutes and 50. It's a great opening song. Is it my favorite? Let me come back to that. It's certainly in the running. I thought I'd leave that decision until this discussion, but it's one of my favorite songs on the album and a really strong opening track. And almost like they're saying, all that stuff we were doing on tab 4, don't expect any more of that on this album. You're not going to get that. This is something new now.
But tab 4 was, how many years ago was that? At this point, tab 4 was 2009. So some time has passed.
6 years ago.
So now moving into No Way Man, which is, No Way Man, I'm sure. This, again, when it came on, as soon as Executioner is done, we jump into this one. And again, we just nasty opening bass riff and the guitar playing over it. And again, in my notes, I've just got, for this second song now, the drums with an exclamation mark. It was just the way that everything, but the melody and the way everything fit together. This song put this song up into the running of one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's certainly in the running for me too. It's another in a long line of uninspiring song titles from this band.
Right.
No Way Man, it follows from Hey All Right, You Ought to Know, Don't Do It. They're good at writing song titles that don't really mean anything. The other thing that stood out for me, as well as those factors you've already mentioned, again, we have the Finn Ryan solos through this. So I'm already starting to see where your Brownlow votes might be going, and perhaps you're starting to see where mine might be going. But I think there's something like 4 Finn Ryan solos throughout this.
Yes, and it's not a long song.
No. So, this sort of this new guitar god Finn Ryan is back already in the second song. I am missing the vocal harmonies a little bit now that Cosmic is pretty much dominating that. But I'm happy to have guitar god Finn Ryan. It's a really mature song, I thought. A song by a band that has gotten very good at writing good songs. It's well structured. I love the stop-start riffing throughout the verses and then the sort of groovier chorus. There's a little bit of poetic sort of nature in some of the lyrics here. Poseidon and Cassiopeia riding with me in circles and shadows. I think they're referencing some comet hitting the Earth, and the film clip seemed to suggest buildings falling over and comets flying through space. So I think that might be they're continuing with that theme here.
Right.
But a great mix of aggressive verses and a groovy, bassy chorus, and just a really good song, I thought. I really enjoyed it. And, it's in the running. It's one of those two probably are my favorites. One of those first two. Maybe. There's some other good ones as well, but we'll get into those in a moment. But, really good song.
And then, then we move into It's All Right.
It's All Right. Another uninspiring song title. It's All Right.
And here again, we just this trio of just right out of the gate. We're just sort of like boom, boom, boom. And of the 3, if I had to, this is sort of, I felt like it was good. I like the song, but there was it gave more of a breathing space of the 3.
Yeah. There was a Twitter question I saw, name the album that has the best first 3 songs. And I half tongue-in-cheek threw this one up just because it was what I was listening to. But the first 3 songs on this album are great.
Right.
There's some more clever lyrics here. There's that, again, the groove in the chorus. There's a bit of thrashiness in Pantella's playing. He does do the a lot more on this album through the verses in particular, which really sets it up for the contrast with the chorus. We've got I don't know if you've seen the film clip to this. We've got sort of rock star Cosnick here as well. He's got his white teeth and his denim jacket and his aviators on, and he's looking pretty cool. And some really fun and clever lyrics about, I guess, some sort of seductress type woman who they're all infatuated with. It's a fun, and as so many of their songs are, it's a fun song and a really tight song and a great third song. I mean, by this stage, I'm like, wow, this album's amazing. I'm hoping they can continue with this. Which
then leads us into Warclaw.
Yep. Now, did you hear how this was named, this song?
Well, no. Actually, no. I was going to ask because go ahead.
Apparently, on their European tours, they could never pronounce the name of the Polish city Wrocław, and they always called it Warclaw. And that ended up becoming the song title.
Okay, so I'm a huge fan of the song title. That was an awesome song title, and I think that this just again the drums, the bass, the solos, what Finn Ryan's doing, but what Cosnick's doing, and the way that they even sort of back off and let the other one in, and there's sort of that kind of just each one has their moment and they let the other come in and have their moment. I think this one is probably in the running for one of my favorite instrumentals by the Atomic Bitchwax period.
Yep.
So this one and then another one on this album. But one of these two is my favorite instrumental by this band. I haven't quite sorted out which one yet. I go back and forth each time I listen.
Yeah, it's on a lot of their set lists, this song, so commonly played live. I think their instrumentals are where Cosnick really shows off. And he does it on this, as you said, with the other members stepping back and letting him take over various times. I'm not sure if you picked it up, but there's right at the end of this, you can hear, I think it's Cosnick say, "All right," which I thought was a nice touch. And they do that again on a later song where you get a little glimpse into, for such a cleanly produced album, I don't think it's a mistake that you hear him say that. I think it's that sort of fourth wall where you actually get a glimpse into the band in the studio and a nice touch right at the end to say, yeah, I was happy with that.
Right, exactly. I agree. And it sort of ends that run of those 4 songs no pun intended, of these 4 songs starting the album and coming in hot.
I don't think I would have wanted another fast tempo song here. Normally on the previous albums, we might have got the cover at this point.
Right.
But we don't get a cover on this one.
We don't. And instead what we get coming in hot. And this song is, I guess I don't have, do you have in front of you, how long is this song?
It's not listed on my.
Okay, well, I'll find it. But
it's 3:55. It's the longest so far. So
okay,
it's not the longest on the album. The longest on the album is Proto World, but yeah, this is almost 4 minutes, so it's clearly the longest song to this point.
So the reason I bring this up is because there is some, and it didn't dawn on me until this song, where there is some influence, I think, despite them saying there's none. I saw the interview. I feel a little bit of the local fuzz coming in this way. There are so many tempo changes, and you addressed it with Sexecutioner, but coming in hot is where I really noticed it. Just in this song, in that short 3 minutes and 55 seconds, it's riddled with tempo changes, and they all blend together so well. And there's a moment where I feel like towards the end, I think the final tempo change where there's a moment where it's like, wait, did we change songs already? And we didn't. It's still the same song. But that continuity that was missing in the local fuzz exists in this song, where it all does come back with all the tempo changes. Everything fits, everything matches together. And I'm wondering if this song, so Sexecutioner was in drop C, and I'm wondering if Coming in Hot, I think Coming in Hot is also. And so it's just that deep kind of crungy sound, and they're playing with rhythm and tempo, and Pantella, he's on his toes for this album, or this song, sorry.
Yeah. He's got some big thumping toms in that first minute. I love the mid-tempo riff at the start. I was kind of hoping for a mid-tempo song. So it did, but it does soon get faster.
Mm-hmm.
And that last minute is faster, but sort of funky as well in that last minute. I'm not as sure as you that it hangs together, particularly that last minute. It felt like a separate minute that they've tacked on to this one. So I don't completely agree with you on that. I definitely needed a different tempo, and I do like this song. I kind of found myself a little disappointed when they stepped away from that lovely mid-tempo riff, that stomping riff that they opened with. But that's not what they're going for on this album, and I understand that. I think there's something to be said, though, and in fact, I watched a documentary on Master of Puppets the other day where they spoke about the third song on that album, The Thing That Should Not Be. Is that the third song? I think. But yeah, they spoke about the fact that we just needed a song to break up the album a bit, and that was an easy song to play and an easy mid-tempo riff, but it just provided a balance to the album. And I was looking for that here, and I thought, oh, good, I'm going to get it. And then they jumped back into their sort of faster stuff. Still a good song. I still enjoyed it.
Isn't track 4 on that album Sanitarium? Which definitely,
yeah. which is the ballad,
right? Well, by Metallica standards at that time.
But they just needed a mid-tempo stomper.
So it's interesting that you say that, because I didn't feel that necessarily about this song, but by the time we get to track 6, which does go back, it's got a cool flanger effect on the guitar. It does harken back to old school Atomic Bitchwax, but that's the one that it's a ripping song.
Oh yeah, so shall we move on to that?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. Now, we didn't talk about this in our pre-podcast meeting. So this has a curse word in the title. We're both teachers, so to avoid getting sacked, let's call this F face.
Fair enough.
And yes, this is another instrumental.
And it's by the time we get to this point in the album is where, so I'm good, and here's where I need the change.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm finding that this is the song that, so I've been listening to this as I've been, driving around to pass the time.
Collecting firewood.
And this album sounds amazing in the car, by the way. But this is usually, but when I get to this song, if I'm going to skip ahead, I'll skip ahead on this one. And it's not the song itself. I think it's the placement of the song. I think that if this song came at some other point in the album, it would get more of my attention, but sort of maybe in line with what you were talking about, this is the moment where I need something a little different.
Okay. Yeah, I felt that way about it. Most of my listening's been through headphones, and this, I think, is a good headphone song. So maybe give it a try that way. Because there's some nice background swirling guitar effects and some subtle spacey sounds throughout that give it some depth that you mightn't, and I certainly didn't pick up, on your first few listens through
I noticed they definitely have the flanger pedal going on this, and that is a cool kind of sort of a little bit of a different sound from what we've been getting, and probably more in line with what we would have gotten in earlier Bitchwax.
It's a little more metallic than their other instrumentals, less cosmic heavy, so less groove. We still get those lovely Pantella, the booming Pantella kit. I really like the song. I found myself, I would have loved just a little something extra on it, like a breakdown or a tempo change or something just to round it out a little bit. I still thought it was a very nice listen.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, this one is one where I was kind of, I guess I was okay with it to just sort of wrap up and be done and move us back into the,
yep.
And which it does, and then it pushes us into the next track, which is Proto World.
Yep.
And in this one, it's like the whole. I think this is this the longest track on the. I think actually the last song is the longest track.
Oh, yeah,
but this one's close. But this album moves so fast, you don't really have time to get bored. And this is another one of those songs where, again, we've got tempo changes, and at the 2-minute 30 mark, we get this whole other rhythm change. We get the breakdown with the cowbell, but it's not obnoxious cowbell. It's not ironic cowbell. It's exactly. It's just everybody take a break, get a breather. It keeps everything moving. This song, at the beginning of the song, I prefer the end of the song over the beginning of the song. But the song, again, it builds up and does exactly what it needs to do. And again, we have those tempo changes that are sort of holding it all together.
Yep. Yeah, I love that cowbelly bit, and the big Pantella toms are there again. This one was chosen. There's a link to a list that I've sent to you, and I'll put on the show notes, by a fellow from a website called Metal Injection, I think, who listed his favorite 150 albums of the decade, and Gravitron was on his list, and this is the song he chose to represent the album, which I thought was interesting. It does hang together really nicely, the song, I thought. It's a nice, nicely written song. It's got a punk feel, I found, in that opening riff and the attitude of the song. There's some fun lyrics. Gravity don't bother me. I hope you brought your battle axe. Surprise attack. I got the power of a Cadillac. There's some fun, I suspect it's cosmic lyrics. And a really good song. A really well-written song with a great feel-good groove throughout, and some lovely work from every band member throughout it. Really good song.
Cosmic definitely did a lot more of the heavy lifting on the lyrics on this album, which is different from the previous two. And I noticed that his lyrical style is more imagery laden, right? He's sort of presenting to you what he hears or sees. Whereas Ryan's lyrics are more sort of introspective. He's going more sort of feeling based. And I enjoy both. And in fact, when Ryan stepped up to the lyric writing and the third and fourth album, it was just kind of like, okay, well, this is a nice change, and we complimented the lyrics heavily. Now, with that said, I do feel like Cosmic's lyrics are still goofy, I guess is the best way I can come up with to describe them. But I 100% can get behind these worlds that he's painting, this picture he's painting for us through his imagery laden lyrics. And this song does a good job of that.
Yeah, there's a lot of sort of almost pop culture kind of references. There's a lot of talk about what it's like to be in a band and sort of girls and things that they've run into over the years. So they are personal, I think, in a way.
Hmm.
A sort of glimpse into the life of being in a band like this and the sort of things you talk about and encounter through your travels.
Right.
But there's no
And
lyrics
then,
on the next one.
no, they're not. Down with the swirl. So here it is.
But
I'm
there
sure
are
you knew
keyboards.
this. There are keyboards. And so
Hmm.
that's Pantella, right?
Well, it says he's playing the piano. It's
Right.
always
It's
been
not a
Cosmic on the
piano.
keyboard. Yeah, I
Right.
suspect this is Cosmic.
Okay. It didn't, yeah. The credits here were a little sparse
Hmm.
compared to everything that I'm hearing on this album. I'm
Yep.
definitely hearing things that aren't credited.
There's also a shaker.
That's Pantella.
Yeah, that's got to be Pantella. Funky bass.
Oh man, this is so I love the bass riff on this song.
Yeah.
I love I love what there's like that Finn Ryan's playing. There's sort of like this southern rock feel from Finn Ryan, and I didn't. Is he? I'm not, and I meant to do this. I meant to look up where is he from New Jersey as well, or does he have more country fried roots? Because I hear some of it in his playing, which it doesn't really mean anything.
I think
But
Core
this,
was a New Jersey band,
okay,
and he was in Core.
yeah,
I think his influences are Southern. I
yeah.
don't know if he himself is Southern.
So again, as I had mentioned before, I was listening to this in the car, and the solo where it just comes ripping in right from the middle of everything, and it in the mix. So as I'm listening to it in the car, the mix of the balance of the way everything's spread around, I'm going to probably do a terrible job of describing this, but everything just sort of falls away and got quiet, and the guitar solo just literally just comes screaming out of right in front of me. And everything, the way that this was mixed, everything else just falls down again, lets him in, and he's not in for long, and then he backs off and everything just kicks right back up again. The production value of this song is so well done.
Yep. Yeah, so it's really well produced, but with a really retro vibe coming through the funky bass and the keys and the shaker. So a great combination of the old and the new, and brought back to mind some of the instrumentals that I loved on their first couple of albums. Smokescreen was one. I mean, it's a faster song than Smokescreen, but that was one of my favorites. That was off the second album. This is certainly up there with my favorite instrumentals of theirs.
Right. It's this one, and it's so when I get to Warclaw, it's always like this is my favorite, and then I get to this one, it's like nah, never mind, this is my favorite one. But I can't land on one, and then I hear Warclaw and I go back again. So
yeah, I almost dubbed this. I now pronounce this my favorite Bitchwax instrumental, but then I listened to Smokescreen again and thought, I can't. It's a damn good song though.
Yeah.
Well done, Bitchwax. That was a thoroughly entertaining song. So we're coming towards the end of the album now. We've got Roseland.
This one, and I was wrong on this one, had sort of I wondered if this one feels more Finn Ryan-esque to me.
Yep. Yeah, it's certainly the poppiest song on the album. Maybe it's just the ooh, ooh, ooh in the chorus.
Maybe.
But it's the one that most reminded me of a like 3 or maybe 4, tab 3 or 4 sort of song. Is this about do you know the venue they're singing about? This is a New York.
So
venue.
yes.
Have you been there?
No, I've not been there. But when I was first listening to this, I was like, this has got to be about the Roseland Ballroom, right? And the only thing I know of it is that I know of it because so many classic recordings have been done in the Roseland Ballroom. And so I'm just familiar with just seeing it in like anytime a band comes out with, you get their B-sides and it's live recordings, and more often than not, at least a couple of the songs are going to be live at Roseland Ballroom. And it just, I guess it was known for its sound, and it did theater productions as well, but it really hit with music, and it closed down in 2013. Right. And so when I was first listening, I was wondering, is this an homage to to Roseland Ballroom, and then I saw the story on it. And it's not. I mean, maybe it is, but the story goes back to his comet hitting Earth, and the fictitious ex-girlfriend of the song being at the Roseland Ballroom watching a show, I think, and somehow whoever the protagonist of this story is able to direct the comet to Roseland Ballroom because his ex-girlfriend's there. So I don't know. But an entertaining song.
Yeah, it is still heavy. I mean, it's the poppiest, but it's still much heavier than anything we heard on 3, for example.
Right.
So now we move to Ice Age quotation mark, Hey Baby end quotation mark as the last song.
It is. We got hand claps.
Yeah. So the first 10 seconds, let's just discuss those briefly. I love the first 10 seconds of this song. And this is that fourth wall thing that I hinted at earlier when we heard him say, all right, at the end of that instrumental. We hear the band members discussing, what are we going to do? Where do we start? I don't know where the one is. We need to start from the top. I love that. I've listened to that first 10 seconds over and over because it's such a nice touch to get an insight into the band members starting a song. And then when that massive guitar sound starts, it's almost like, whoa, hey, I thought they didn't know what they were doing, but then all of a sudden we've got this huge opening riff. And the hand claps are going right throughout that first 10 seconds and then right throughout the song. But yeah, great start to the song.
I love this song. I love this song. It does not, again, it probably has to be, we talked about this with a couple of their other songs. It doesn't, I don't know how you would fit it in the middle. This definitely has to be a last track. The groove, the riff, there's sort of a straightforward simplicity to it, but there's not, and that's sort of that conversation at the beginning points at. It's like you get the sense that once they find that groove, they can just lay into it and just play that groove all night long if they have to. But you can't fabricate that. You've got to. Right? There's a difference of when you've warmed that groove up and you've been playing it for 2 minutes versus just immediately jumping in on that groove. And that's what they do, right? They don't have time to find it. They've got to start with it. And so it's just a matter of just hitting it and going, right? It's a matter of it's like if your driveway led straight on to the freeway, right? You don't have time to speed up. You got to hit that freeway at 60 miles an hour.
It's like driving in Jakarta.
And so I love that they, as you said, break that fourth wall where they're like, okay, well, right. You get that sense that they weren't, and then they finally hit it and they went, and you get that sort of celebratory, what does he shout? Yeah. Or I don't remember what he says at the end, but there's that where we did it. We nailed that.
Yeah. He does yell at the end. Woo at the end.
Was that it? Okay. Right.
I see. I'm not used to playing in bands that play this kind of music. So to me, it sounded like their simplest song by far on any album so far, in terms of this almost made me want to start a cover band just to play this song. I don't know what instrument I'd play. Maybe the hand clap.
Even that, you got to stay constant through the whole song. That doesn't change.
Yeah, you can't let up. Can't let up with the hand clap.
And the backwards guitar. Let's not ignore the backwards guitar.
Yeah.
That first solo that comes in is backwards.
I love that. I love it. It's have you seen the film clip to this?
No.
There's a link to it.
Is it on
So it's not just the Finn Ryan backward guitar solo, but you look at him in that film clip and that's where my guitar god Finn Ryan sort of becomes a visual thing. Yeah, he's like Hendrix reincarnated at that moment.
Hmm.
It's a cool film clip, actually. A really spacey film clip. It's got Cosnick wearing his aviators that he always wears, but he's got a beanie on as well. So that also made me want to rush out and buy a beanie, even though it's 30 degrees every day. Well, 100 degrees in your language here every day.
I will definitely check that out as soon as we're done here.
There's that nice Cosnick, and again here we're seeing that thing that I've said before. Cosnick can sing, and again we're seeing it here, and he's opening himself in vocally in ways that there's no way he would have done on those first few albums. That bit where the whole band stops and he goes a cappella.
Yep. And just lets it rip.
Yeah, so that really shows how far he's come as a vocalist. It's really well. That the production that's strong right throughout the album is again a highlight here, and there's also a really nice climax to this song, which some of the other songs kind of let me down in that way. This one actually builds to a really fitting finale to the song and a fitting finale to what I thought was an excellent album.
Yeah.
And then the woo at the end just topped it off.
I'm doing it. I'm going out on a limb here. I'm calling this my favorite Bitchwax album. Is it?
Wow.
I hear you hesitating, but this one. I don't know how else to describe it. I put it on. I hit play. It brings me joy. I'm seeking the joy where I can find it, and this album gives it to me.
I'm planting my flag on 4, and I'm reluctant to move it at this point. If there were 1 or 2 more like Ice Age and 1 or 2 less like, I don't know, some of the, I don't know. I don't want to be critical. It's a great album. I prefer 4. That's all. Just let's just leave it at that.
Leave it there.
But they're both great albums.
So where are you at on your favorite track?
Gee, I've almost talked myself into Ice Age. The first time I heard Ice Age, straight away I said, this is my favorite song on the album. This is it. It's not going to change. It's Ice Age, and it's not going to be one of those things where something else grows on me. This is my favorite song. I think I've just listened to it so many times and just watched that film clip over and over again that I might have saturated myself with Ice Age, and I think I'm going to go with No Way Man, the second song for the Finn Ryan solo extravaganza and the nice contrast between the sort of helmety stop-start riffs throughout the verses and the groovy choruses. So yeah, I'll go with the second song, No Way Man.
What's funny about this is No Way Man was the one that I was originally going to pick and ended up it was, I think, the last couple of days as I've been listening to this again, as soon as Ice Age Hey Baby is done, I go back and listen to it again. It's like, I need to hear that one more time. And so I'm gonna have to go Ice Age Hey Baby.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's funny how we both that flip that happened there.
We oscillated.
And then I needed somewhere, and I think that's where I sort of came up with this qualification of favorite instrumental track, because I couldn't let Down with the Swirl and Warclaw go completely unnoticed.
Yeah.
So, but I still haven't figured out which one.
The instrumentals are great on this album, and Down with the Swirl is up there, as I said, with my favorites of all. So yeah, great stuff. Which makes me wonder what All Music were thinking when, and this was not my man, River Dahlia. This is Fred Thomas. He said, while Gravitron is a study in stoner rock riffing and undoubtedly tight playing, the album grows tedious quickly, offering little in the way of new ideas for even the most dyed-in-the-wool devotee of 70s-styled road rock.
The 10 songs here span just over half an hour, but begin to feel endless before the halfway point. The band takes very few compositional risks, despite pinpoint production and more than capable playing, and by its end, Gravitron starts feeling like a listless exercise. Even in its technical perfection, the songs sound more rehearsed than dangerous.
But I'm going to have to agree to disagree with Fred, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. Freddie needs to put it on in the car, maybe, Fred.
There you go.
I don't know. It's always hard, you know. You can't say that as a music writer, you can't say every album's great. I think he's missed the mark here, though.
I think so. You know what? Here's the thing. If I could speak to Freddie, is that those mornings when we put it on, we're having breakfast, and my 21-month-old daughter is just dancing away with the big old grin on her face. You can't ignore that. It's just it appeals to all ages.
Mm-hmm.
It catches us all. I really think. I mean, if I had to pick a least favorite track, I'd already addressed it. We're talking about track 6. That would. And I think it's more just, it's nothing against the track itself. It's just the placement, right? So if I were to listen to it on shuffle, which I wouldn't, because we're on shuffle. We wouldn't. But if this was to come up, like, so the vinyl's in the mail. It's coming to me. And I'm wondering if that's not the starter for side B, and I'm great. I think if that's a starter for side B, I'm all in. And it's just as a mid track, it sort of loses me.
Okay. Yeah. Try the headphones.
Yeah, we'll do.
I think it's a grower.
All right. So now that brings us to the band Brownlow, doesn't it?
The band Brownlow, which we are now keeping track of. I think Kosnick's got an unassailable lead in this thing just quietly, which you'd expect from being the only guy that's actually played on every album. Maybe we should go the average rather than, even on the averages, he's going to be tough to beat.
Well, do I admit that tallying this kind of, I was torn on who my winner was going to be.
Have you let the tally influence your final?
I did let the tally. I needed something to push me, and the tally did it.
All right, so who'd you go with?
I went with Pantella. I love this again. This album again. I was excited about the drum sound again. I felt it the first album, and I'm definitely feeling it again with this album.
But is it the sound or the playing? I mean,
it's both. No, sorry, it is the playing.
We can't give votes to the technician here.
Right. It is the playing. It is, again, it's the tempo changes. It's just the cool. There's so many songs on here where he just does these cool drum breaks. And there is it Down with the Swirl or Coming in Hot? I didn't mark it down. But yeah, they're Coming in Hot or Down with the Swirl, where everybody just stops and lets him go. And they're letting him break out. And I don't feel that this is the first time I've really heard him, although you gave him for the last one.
Yeah.
But I feel like this is where they've really just let him go. Like he's just been allowed to kind of open up and have at it.
Yeah.
So he got my top spot.
I certainly think that just as Finn Ryan changed the band, the introduction of Finn Ryan for 3, I think we're seeing the effects of Pantella now and the effect he's had on the band. And I think he does that more metallic edge that we're talking about, and that faster, more muscular sound, I think is in large part due to Pantella's more metal drumming.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm a big Pantella fan myself. My 3 went to Finn Ryan, which you're probably not surprised. We hear less of his vocals here, but, yeah, his soloing throughout is he's taken that to a new level. And I think this is, for the first time since Mundell's departure, this is, oh yeah, we're back to being a guitar-y band as well. So well done, Finn Ryan, on your transmogrification into guitar god.
So the bottom two spots, they're the ones I finally landed on. Cosmic is my next one, and I put Finn Ryan at the bottom. This is again nothing about Finn Ryan, what he's offering here. I was looking for what was that thing that was. I love the riffs that Cosmic's playing. He's singing over most of them, which is not easy. And I love going back to sort of that imagery laden songwriting. I enjoyed the picture that's being painted here. Right, that with this album and the little, just even in his vocal stylings, the little kind of nuances that he sort of has found confidence with. He's definitely found confidence, and we mentioned this already with Ice Age Hey Baby, but he's found confidence in his singing voice, and instead of maybe in the earlier albums kind of hiding behind insecurities, he's just it's out there now. It's just, this is how I sing and this is the way it goes, and I like it. And then and he does that slacker drawl, which
that's great. I love it.
And then Finn Ryan, you're absolutely right. He is 100% showing us that the man, and we knew this, but the man can play.
Yep. So look, I'm going to give my 2 to Pantella just because I don't want them all to end up with 4 votes again. But could have easily given it to Cosmic. Pantella, though, as much to his drum technician as to Pantella himself. So the team, let's give it to Team Pantella. The 2 votes, and Cosmic, it's still his band, and they're still his songs, and it's a great album. So well done, Chris Cosmic, on where you've managed to take this band over the 2.5 decades or whatever it's been since their inception. Rockstar Cosmic. Beanie and Aviators.
Beanie and Aviators. That's going to be my band. And when I start with Beanie and Aviators,
that's going to be my new look.
All right. Well, great. So Thunder Boogie. We Thunder Boogied right through this one. And we are moving on to, we've got Force Field coming up, and we're gonna I'll be putting that in today.
Good. Yeah, makes it. I'm looking forward to a new one, actually.
And then Scorpio. What do you have a, let me pull up a calendar. What does that do for us? Because if we're about 2 weeks on.
Scorpio's the 29th.
29th.
Will get us through to Force Field will get us through to late May. There might be a few days where we're bitch
kind of waiting. All right. That might be the time to start making that list for what's next, because we're definitely getting there.
Yeah, we are. It's fast approaching.
So, real quick, but I'm going to tell you my overkill story real quick, just because you had a.
Please.
So I used to work at this gas station, right? I made pizzas at this gas station. This is back when I lived in Iowa. All right. And this guy comes in out of nowhere.
Before you you cleaned windscreens at the pizza shop.
But before that. And so this guy comes in while I'm making my pizzas, and he's like, out of nowhere, he's like, "Hey, by chance, do you play bass?" And I was like, "What? Yes, I do, actually." And he's like, "Look, our bass player just quit. We need a new bass player. We've got a tour booked. We're opening for Overkill, but we just lost our bass player. Is there any way? Here's my number. Call me. You can come over. We'll teach you the songs, and we need to, so we can go on with this tour." And I was like, "This is amazing, right? This is amazing. I've been discovered at the pizza counter of a gas station."
Where was the tour? Was it to like Russia or something? Where were they going?
It was Northern European. It was a Northern European tour.
Really?
And so I call the guy, right? I'm ready to go. I'm ready to quit my job. I'm ready to do this. Call the guy.
Did you throw your apron at the boss of the pizza?
I was about ready to. I called the guy. And I'm like, "Hey man, I'm the bass player. I'm ready to come. Let's do this." and he has no idea who I am. He has no recollection of the conversation. The band, he had a band. The bass player quit. There was no tour with Overkill. The whole thing was just, I don't even know what it was. But that was my pseudo almost going on a world tour with Overkill story that never happened.
Do you know what his band was called?
I don't remember. If you gave me I'm not going to sit here and think about it, but if you gave me a moment,
next
I could come up
podcast,
with it.
listeners, join us next podcast as we reveal the band. So it was just like some figment of his imagination.
It was just some nutter who was probably, I don't know, he was probably cranked up or something when he came into the gas station. Who knows? Right. I have never ran into the guy again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh well.
So it goes. Iowa. What are you gonna do?
Good story.
Yeah.
What are you expecting from Forcefield?
I'm
more of the same.
I am expecting more of the same.
Yeah, there's no lineup change for this one. No. I've had it. All I know about it, apart from, I haven't listened to it, but the song lengths are very similar to the one we've just covered. So I'm expecting Gravitron Part 2.
Yeah, so am I. There's a 2-year difference between. I think this is, no, that's not true. 1 and 2 were only a year apart, but we've not seen this quick of a turnaround in quite a while from them. So
yep,
I agree. I'm imagining Gravitron 2.
Yep. Hopefully they're in the same studio because I love the sound on this. So let's hope for more of the same. And if it's another very similar album, I'll be quite happy indeed for the next 2 weeks.
Yes, as well. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Hopefully you are too, listeners. So grab yourself a copy of Forcefield. You can get it in different ways, but Bandcamp's one of them. You can ideally get the physical media. And you can join us on this journey into music intentionality. Don't forget to contact us. Reach out. We've got a website, unshuffledpod.com. We're on Twitter @unshuffledpod. And we have a yet-to-be-used Gmail account. But you could be the first. And I guarantee if you email us at unshuffledpod@gmail, we will read your email on this podcast. So please reach out. We hope you're enjoying Atomic Bitchwax as much as we are. There, sadly, when we're not long from the end, as much of it as I've enjoyed them, I am looking forward to our next band. So that's something that we'll unpack in the next few weeks as well. We'll work out what our next band's going to be and put plenty of thought into that. We'll probably have a separate episode where we choose our next band.
I'm looking forward to putting that list together again.
Yeah, we'll deal with that in a couple of episodes' time, but we need to think very carefully because it's a lot of time to spend with one band, as we've found over the last 3 weeks, especially now we're in isolation.
It sure is.
Like it's just us, our families, and Atomic Bitchwax.
So, all right,
big choice. But so thanks, Scott. Thanks, listeners. Thank you, Small Stone and 7 Planets, for the great intro music, and you'll hear another little taste of it in the outro in a moment. But please log on and check out Small Stone's catalog, and while you're there, grab yourself a copy of 7 Planets, the magnificent stoner instrumental masterpiece.
Yeah, thank you all. It's May, but apparently stay warm, I guess, is in order, and stay healthy. Thank you all for listening.
Yeah, no danger of that here in Jakarta. We're always warm, and hopefully we will always be healthy. Let's hope all our listeners stay healthy and keep listening to music. It's about all we've got to hold on to at the moment.
Yes.
Thank you, listeners, and we'll catch you in a couple of weeks for Forcefield.
See you then.
Bye.